Hello and welcome to KamenRider Blackman, of course. Let me change this here. Better. Now, today I'll be doing my top 10 favorite Red Rangers in Super Sentai because this is something that I just came up with, and also just a random fact in general. I'm recording with my cell phone as opposed to my tablet, mainly because I think I lost it somewhere, and hopefully I'll possibly buy a new one either today or tomorrow. But top 10 Red Rangers in Sentai for today. Now, with that said, going in, I say I only have. Screw it. I'll say I have 2 honorable mentions. I'll give you my first one. If you've seen Kaku Ranger, then Ninja Red, Sasuke. Like, it's been a long time since I've seen Kaku Ranger, and I do plan to review that show and rewatch it, like, later in the year. But I do remember Sasuke as a character, though. But I do remember Sasuke and his character. I quite liked him. He was more or less, I want to say, that field commander, because Ninja White Shihime was the leader of the team. But Sasuke was always the one to get out. He's always the one to save people, well, especially his team, when they're in a pitch. And it's like, many of Sasuke's good moments are when he is saving everyone else, showing that he is a damn good and perfect second in command. Because, yes, he is a bit of a jokester, but when the chips are down, you know he can be serious and back it up. And which makes him a pretty damn good ninja. And hell, we even saw him again in Ninja. Moving on. My second and final honorable mention is Daigo Kyoryu Red. Now, understand right now, I know some people may have an issue with Daigo, and I won't fault you there, but in my opinion, I don't think Daigo is honestly that terrible. Like, yeah, so I think he has his moments where he steals the spotlights. Yes, on occasion, definitely. But do I feel like he does it a lot? To any concernable agree, no. Because you have to remember, there are others in Kyoryuger who have had their focus and really ran with it. Just think about Kyoryuger. It's pretty an ensemble show. Like, you have all these characters with all their different skills. And then you have Daigo to start it off with being the jack of all trades. But not only that, with Daigo as a character, though, he, in his own ways and methods, you can consider him respectable. And let's be real, from what we've been getting, like, for the past few years with Loud Reds, yes, like, Daigo could be very loud and obnoxious, and some would say invasive, but he is not the worst by far. And I think he's pretty dang fine, which is why he is an honorable mention, mainly because some focus really seems to be taken up by him, out of all people. But moving on to the actual list, starting off at number 10, Yusuke Amamiya. Yusuke, Red Falcon from Live Man. In case I haven't said this before, I am a huge fan of Live Man. And for Red Ranger to be on this list, I had to start off with Yusuke. He's a good example of being human. Like, here's how I can explain it. Yusuke is a good example of being human because, yes, he can be obnoxious, he can be rude, he can be a bit of a narcissist, But when he's not all that, he's also a good guy. He's also a good guy. He has his own qualms and ties with the villains, just like everyone else in Live Man, which really makes his character being more on, which makes his character for being more on serious, because these are former comrades that they're fighting, and they constantly keep that in mind. But with Yusuke's character alone, though, yeah, like I said, he's all those things, but he proves himself worthy of being a leader. He proves that he can be serious. And when you watch Live Man, you can understand why they follow his order, because he's their leader. So, moving on, number 9, Mega Red, Kenta. Kenta is a fun... I'm not gonna lie right now. Kenta is a fun character, to be honest. It's like, he's not the leader of the team, nor is he the second in command. Come think about it, Mega Ranger doesn't really have a second in command, because Black's leader. But about Kenta, though, he's a prototype of Loud Reds, but he is not, well, he's not really all that loud. He could come off as a bit annoying or dumb. But my point is, he's considered a Loud Red that realizes his flaws. He can realize when he's made a mistake, because he can realize he's made a mistake and immediately go to make up for it. Best example being is when Mega Black gets injured, and Kenta's never really had any friends before. And when he sees Mega Black gets really bad and injured, and everyone else scolds him for it, like, Kenta realizes his mistake and immediately tries to make up for it. Mind you, it was the stupid decision to go fighting Ugande himself, but you get the meaning behind it. And you see that growth all throughout Mega Ranger, with Kenta being more serious and more thoughtful of a person, and being completely, not entirely, but a little bit less reckless. And think about it this way, everyone else in the Mega Ranger are honor students, so you gotta have that one relatable character, and that's Kenta. Yeah, he's just a fun guy and a really cool dude. Yeah. And next, number 8, John from Geki Ranger. John is on this list just personally for me, because I will agree to, because he's a pretty weird character to begin with overall. And keep in mind, in Sentai, we have had aliens, robots, and on my list, I have a person that can speak in an onomatopoeia. It's like, don't get me wrong, like, John may come off as simple, but he's not stupid, because we see him actually grow as a person throughout the entirety of Geki Ranger, and even later on in the movies, for when he becomes a master and he does that Anapada wiki wiki or niki waki waki thing a little bit less. But still, even when he does do that, you can actually understand him as a character. Not to mention, think about how everyone else is. Everyone else is more pretty serious in tone, and Jean is more here for the ride. But, well, yeah, pretty much that. Like, everyone's been pretty serious in tone, and Jean's more here for the ride. But he's still just such a nice guy, even though he was, probably because he was raised by tigers. But not only that, you really see him grow as a character in terms of strength, and through his adventures, and hell, even through his rivalry with Rio. And not to mention his arc in the last half of Geki Ranger. It was amazing. It's just amazing. I really like to watch Geki. I like Geki Ranger. But next, number 7, Matoi Tatsumi, aka Go Red from Go-Go 5. So let me start this off. He is a fireman, and he is a fireman, and he is the oldest of his teammates because they're all siblings. And that's another thing about this character. He needs to remember that he needed to learn that his siblings aren't kids anymore. They can take care of themselves. Because he needed to learn to tone it back some. But with Matoi though, he's a former fireman, and he is pretty damn serious with basically everything being a member of Go-Go 5. Through their training, through being out on the field to protect people, which makes sense because they all have service occupations. And once again, his is a fireman. And not only that, not only that, but Matoi alone, Go Red, he truly earns a spot on this list through the many times he's actually went out to save his teammates. And it makes absolute sense because his teammates are, once again, his family, his younger siblings, and he's always there to be there for them and rescue them, or hell, even encourage them to go out on whatever pursuits they have going on. And so he makes this list for being a good leader. He makes this list for being a good ranger, a good leader, not to mention, and a good big sibling, to be honest. So, next, from a personal level to a more personal level, number 6, Abared with Ryuga. Now, it's the same thing with Go Red, but on a different scale because he is a single parent Sentai. Well, at least he is the first. Well, Ryuga is the first single parent Sentai, because he had to double his ranger duties with raising technically his niece, and that alone is just so sweet. When I watched Abba Ranger the first time around, I looked at it and I thought, it's so, because both jobs are very important to him. He wants to raise his niece and give her like a good life, but yet he also has to juggle his Abba Ranger duties and protect humanity there. So seeing those two clash and just seeing those two clash to begin with, you can see and imagine a lot of pressure on him, and it's not hidden. It's not hidden. You totally see it. Like, I have to be here. Wait, you guys need me? Okay, let me go. All right, we're good here. Okay, let me go back. Like, it's not hidden at all, because of how realistic it is to actually be a single parent and working at the same time. And it is such a hassle. And Ryuga, not to mention Ryuga alone, I quite like him as a character. Not from what I just said, and also he's like my first favorite character from Abba Ranger because of how sweet he is. He's a pretty optimistic dude, but another good thing about that is that he can be dead serious when he needs to be, whether he's Abare Max or if he's beating the hell out of Abare Killer. Number 5, Red Hawk Ryu Tendo from Jetman. Alright. Wow. It's weird how for when I think of my top 10 list, I think about the order of them while I'm doing them. But either way, with Ryu Tendo, yes, I know some people honestly do like Jetman, but it was a thought. I really had to think about wanting to put Ryu on this list for a good moment, because I don't mind him as a character. If anything, I think he's pretty impressive. He's the team leader. He has the most connection to Vyram, the villains of the show. Not to mention, he's pretty aware, like tech-wise, as Not to mention, he's pretty aware. He's pretty self-aware of what to do tech-wise too in the show. I won't spoil any examples of when, but he can be pretty tech savvy. But Ryu comes off as this perfect leader that he is on an imperfect team to have flaws. Like, he's a character that's designed to be broken because he loses his girlfriend in the beginning of the show, and it comes back to really mess with him just a couple of times in show, and it leaves him to be broken. And you can understand why Jetman is such a good show because of how personal it can be. Because of how personal it can be with some characters. And Ryu is a good example of that. And it's just, he really, of course later on, but just through, okay, spoiler alert right now, I'm a fan of Jetman, but it's the latter half of the show that I really dig. And it's just, with Ryu's character, he had to learn to move on and let go so that it wouldn't consume him so much and so hard. And so I will give respect to that when I can. So now, number 4, Boken Red. Whew. Boken Red. He's much higher on this list because he's pretty powerful. Just Boken Red's on this list because he's pretty powerful alone, and he is elite, and that's pretty much it. But just, God, I need a cup of water, because what else can you say about Boken Red except for he's the most powerful out between the 6 of them, as well as he is the leader of the team. Now, actually, yeah, that's something else you can say. He's a pretty good leader because he lets his team make mistakes so that they can learn from it and grow and be stronger. And so, yeah. Not to mention, that title alone, the Immortal Fang, it lives without... That phrase is legit as all hell, because throughout the entire run of Bokenger, he doesn't die. It's just, he doesn't die. But yeah, it's just, with Satoru Boken Red, oh, that's his name, Ayakashi, there. Me saying his name sounded weird for a moment, but so yeah, with Ayakashi, it's like, he's a prime, like, out of everyone on the team, he's pretty, you can see how he's the most excitable about going on adventures and whatnot. And that's totally his thing. Which explains why his roll call title is the Fiery Adventurer. Huh. Yeah, because honestly, I think that's a good thing too. To have for one team, to have that one excitable team member that's on the team. Not to say that he's excitable, but he shows that he's excitable about some adventures, and which makes sense because Bokenger is an adventure-going treasure hunting team, so there's some things like that actually are pretty impressive, and to show that is honestly not bad. So now, number 3, Yamato Kazakuri Zuo Eagle. Even after his show is over and with the Super Sentai battles, he's still awesome. Like, Yamato is the Red Ranger that was so needed after so many excitable ones going on. I'm looking at you, Kyoru Red, Tokyo, Ichigo, Aka Ninja. And once we get to Zuo Eagle, it's like, okay, we can actually breathe for a moment with this character and actually see him grow and pretty much have a damn good arc in Zyuohger. Some people may say that Zyuohger is a bit of a red-centered show. I won't fault you there because it sort of does, but still, I'll still give it a pass of how. I'll still give it a pass with how calm and collected, like Yamato was as a character. Well, I won't say calm and collected. I'll say more content of the character Yamato is, because he's a zoologist. He cares for not only animals' lives, but all lives for that matter. And not to mention, he has some pretty badass moments on his own, where I want to get this one out of the way first. In the Super Sentai Battles special, he fights 3 Sentai members and handles them all on his own in a fiery passion, all to resurrect this one kid for a day so that they can go see the animals and whatnot. And so literally seeing him go wild and even lash out at Marvelous for his bullcrap, it goes, okay, so he's the one in charge. Gotcha. And now for another example of that. When he's fighting Bungre after Bungre literally... Let me explain Bungre for a minute. Bungre is the villain. He's a villain in the show who has the ability to bring monster... He has the ability to grab your head, read your mind, and bring back any form of memory in the form of a person. And he usually does it to bring back old monsters. Yeah. He uses that ability to bring back Yamato's mother. Now, Yamato's mom, she died when he was a little kid. And so Bungre brought her back to life and murdered her right in front of him, all just to see him break. What the fuck? What the fuck? Like, the hell, man? Dude, you cannot do something like that. That is not cool to do. What the fuck? And Yamato's the type of character, like, he's not, like, all of that just to see him break. And afterwards, he just kicks his ass. Yamato just beats his ass. And not to mention, another good badass example. Early on, or not so early on, when the others have an opportunity to go back to their home world, Yamato takes on an army of minions and then a giant robot all by himself. That is badass. Just pure badass. And so yeah, I like Yamato as a character. He is pretty good. And he's a good, how do I say this? He's a good leader because of how considerate he is of others. And so, number 2, Shiken Red, Shiba Takeru. He's just a badass. Like, the dude, he's not overpowered. He's just the lord of a samurai clan. And he has been training for years from an early age to be the leader of this Sentai. And when he becomes the leader of this Sentai, he takes that job seriously, as well as grow a compassion for every single person on that team, including his friend who just wanted to fight with him. And everything with him makes him grow as a character. His friendships, his rivalry with Juzo, and when it's revealed that he isn't the actual head of the Shiba clan, he takes it a lot to heart, as he's been lying to them. And yet, when it came down to it, at the very end, they still chose him. He didn't want any attention or anything on himself. He wanted to step down because he truly deceived his friends and felt sorry about it. Yeah, that's the thing about with Takaru. He comes off as a bit of a loner, and yet he actually shows it. He's not brooding. He's not like, here's the thing about him. He's not brooding. He's not forward about it. Well, he is, but he's really not talkative about it. But he's really not talkative about it per se, because his whole goal at first was to keep distance, and he eventually got closer to them. And so yeah, it's a real, there's that amazing sense of family that they all have together. But with all things considered, number 1, Gokai Red, because Gokai Red is almost everything. He's pirate obnoxious, but that's awesome on him because he's not. He's pirate obnoxious, but it's also on him because he's not entirely obnoxious. He's not loud. He's controlled about it, and furthermore, he's not being. How do you explain Captain Marvelous? Oh, here's how. He doesn't give two shits. That's basically it. Like, he doesn't give two shits. Like, he's here to do a job. He's here to find treasure, leave. That's it. Will he gain something from it to delay the treasure hunting? Yeah. But besides that, the dude's there. The dude is a total badass. Like, that's the only way to describe Marvelous. He is a total badass. And it's because his sense of leadership is using what you. Here's the thing about him. His sense of leadership is connecting to a personal level to go out and do what you can do with the best of your abilities of what you have. Good God. Amazing. Not to mention his rivalry with Bosco. Man, I swear, this is just me speaking for a moment. His rivalry with Bosco is like the rivalry between Batman and the Joker. Like, one is serious and one's screwing around being a troll because one completes the other. And Marvelous just wants to deck him. But, unlike Batman, like, Marvelous would not mind Marvelous would not mind stabbing his foot and Bosco's foot point blank on the ground just so he can kill him in one close shot. That is how you fight like a pirate. You go, fuck you, fuck your plans. I'm going to murder you this way and that way so I can go back to my mission. Not to mention, just to sound sweet for a minute, like, he is a Marvelous, he shows that he really is a good guy. Underneath all that, being a pirate, there is a good guy, because even he has his own backstory with being mentored by Akared and whatnot, which explains in his actions of how he is. Well, not how he is. Through his mentoring and learning from Akared, it explains his actions for what he does, and it's completely understandable. Like, he doesn't do what he does out of no reason. For his actions, he always has a reason. And that makes him number 1. Also, it's Captain Marvelous. Let's be real. And so, that is the list for the top 10 Red Rangers in Sentai. Whew. I've been going at this now for 30 minutes, and I gotta get going to another thing that I had today. So, thank you for watching KamenRider Blackman. I think I want to try to take a shower because I have something to do right now. But please not forget to like, subscribe, share this video. Hell, tell your friends about KamenRider Blackman. I will hopefully get an actual camera for either the second to next new video. And I will see you guys